start with the hanging lock with a pin. As you can see, it is closed. Let's take an ordinary screw, insert it into the well, and begin to tighten it smoothly with the screwdriver. It's not that hard. When the screw fits tightly inside, we take a crowbar and pry it, pull it, and pull the mechanism itself out of the lock together with the screw. The mechanism is outside, which means nothing will prevent us from opening the lock. To open an ordinary suspension lock, you will need 2 wrenches. Hook them on the shackle and start spreading on opposite directions. And here are some examples of how it works in real life. Even on the door, or even on a gate. And if the lock is too big, add an extra stop between the keys. A little more complicated, but the lock still tends itself. This method also works with combination lock. If the lock does not give in, try to change the position of the key so that the pressure is directed to the upper part of the shackle. He will definitely not resist this. And yes, this method will work with the padlock, although it takes much more effort than all previous locks. This method is universal, but after that, the lock will already be decommissioned. And here's another way to open such locks. To begin with, we'll fasten it. And now, we need a gas burner. Unscrew the gas to the full and then install the burner directly opposite of the lock. This method will take a decent amount of time, so it's better to fix the balloon in place. Gradually, the flame will burn all the paint and then begin to heat up the metal of which the lock consists. When the temperature becomes critical, the lock will gradually melt and crumble. It will only be necessary to help him a little with the wrench. That's it. The lock is open. And here is the metal that has fallen to the ground. It was aluminum or another fusible metal. However, with the steel lock, this trick is unlikely to work. Now, something more interesting. We have handcuffs next. Throw away the key and lock them on my wrist for the purity of the experiment. As you can see, everything is reliable. Now, we need a regular hairpin, or rather an en-bloc metal plate. Driving it into the groove, we will push the fastening off the handcuffs off of it and they will open. It's even easier to do it with a free hand. Overlapping the thread inside, the barrette does not allow the handcuffs to function normally. That's all. And next, we have a combination lock. And that's how it works. We'll pull a shackle 180 degrees, Click on it and make a random combination of numbers. After that, we pay attention to the shackle and close the lock. Rearrange the numbers and the lock is closed. To open it, first align the numbers and pull the lock. Lock it in this position. We check the reels. The drum moves freely, then the digit is not part of the code. And if it is tight, then you guess the number. Now, you need to find the right number for each reel. It may take some time. Until the castle finally opens, and most importantly, after that, the castle will remain intact. And now, we'll show you how to make a lockpick from an aluminum can. We will need such a small plate on which we make 2 shallow incisions, bend the sides, round off the central part with scissors. Now, let's close our test lock with the key. We drive our master key into the mechanism of the shutter of the shackle. You will need to make an effort, but the lock will open. If the lock has 2 locks, then we will need 2 lock pins. As you can see, combination lock has a similar shutter mechanism. So, let's check our lockpick on it too. As you can see, combination lock has a similar shutter mechanism, so let's check our lockpick on it too. It's a little more complicated because of the shape of the shackle, but this lock also lends itself. In addition, it retains its working capacity. Let's take a hammer and a single bolt lock. Let's hit the castle hard with the hammer. On the second attempt, it opens. And at the same time, maintains integrity. Let's try it again and again. Success! Let's check on the lock with 2 locks. Unfortunately, no matter how much we beat, the lock remains firmly closed. Take an ordinary paper clip and straighten one of its ends. Now, we will need pliers for fine work. We create this shape. We fold the second paper clip in this way and bend the loop. Here is such a master key we have turned out. Let's check it in practice. When the key enters the well, its thread lines up all the cylinders in a row and the lock opens. we will be able to achieve this with a little help of our tool. It's not as simple as it looks, but it works. Let's do it with the opaque lock. We had to work blindly, but we succeeded. As you can see, this is a very painstaking and time-consuming work. In order to do it faster, you will have to get the hang of it. But then, any lock will give in to you. Such master key can be made from a hair clip. She will work exactly on the same principle, not all inferior to her calling. Let's take an inexpensive padlock and close it. From the side of the mechanism, we will gradually scrape off the top layer of zinc with the screwdriver. At some point, you will see the silhouettes of the cylinders on the body. Now, let's take a thin drill and start sawing the cylinders. After that, the mechanism will simply crumble. It remains only turn the weld with the screwdriver and the lock will open. Some locks can be opened with the kitchen knife. By inserting it at the right angle, you will easily push through all the cylinders. It remains only the crank and the lock will open. Of course, it is more difficult to do this blindly, but with proper skill, any lock will give in to you. With this method, the locks do not break, so you can continue to use them. Let's take a pin and cut off its head. We will push a pin into the well and try to find the cylinders. Then, we will put a screwdriver and try to turn it with effort. The lock is open. Let's try again and again with success. And now, we will show you how to copy keys with improvised tools. The key role in the key is played by its carving. Let's heat the key with the lighter. When it is covered with a dark layer, we will attach a sticky tape to it and remove this dark layer. The drawing was printed on the tape, and now we will transfer it to a plastic card. Using scissors, we will cut out the key according to the silhouette, paying special attention to the carving. Now we have an extra copy. Let's check it out. The lock opens on the first attempt. Such a copy can be made from a jar, a bottle, and a battery, and also from 4 layers of paper or even 10 layers of ordinary tape. For copies made of soft materials, let's take an ordinary apple and a large magnet. Of course, the magnet does not affect the apple in any way. But what if you put 2 apples on a wooden stick and balance them in the air? Now, you can see that the magnet still causes small fluctuations in the apple. It seems that there really is a lot of iron in this fruit. This trick is also great with grapes. Who would have thought that fruits and berries can be magnetic? We will install the magnet on the stand and take a couple of needles on a thread. As you can see, they immediately begin to reach for it, pulling the threads. Now we're heating up the needles as it seems they're starting to lose the interest in the magnet. And they fall completely. If you hold magnet over matches, then no effect will follow. But if you let them burn out, they immediately require magnetic properties. And not only a big magnet, but with such a small one. How is this possible? Let's try again with color matches. At last, nothing comes out with them. Let's take 4 magnets and 16 steel balls. Now, we'll open up the plastic baseboard and place them inside as follows. Push a lonely ball to the nearest magnet and bam! All the balls have changed their position. And the extreme one flew out the baseboard at a decent speed. This is a real magnetic rifle. Pour some PVA glue into a bowl. Add some steel spraying and bright gouache. Mix the mass until smooth. And now add sodium and we'll mix it until the mass turns into real slime. But this is not just your ordinary slime. It's worth bringing a magnet and see what happens. Slime envelops any source of magnetism like a living slime. It's not easy to tear it off now. Holding the magnet at a distance, you can see how the slime seems to be pulling a tentacle towards it. Because of this, it really looks like something's alive. Just look how strongly this mass is drawn to the magnet. Much more interesting than your usual slime, right? Let's take a small plastic bottle, make a funnel out of a piece of paper, and pour some printer ink inside. Using a syringe, add alcohol inside until the bottle is filled. Close the lid tightly, and now put a magnet to the walls. Look what's going on inside. The magnet seems to purify alcohol from ink. They literally separate from each other. See how beautiful it can look, like a black waterfall that is directed upwards. All ink, no matter how well it has been stirred, will still be attracted to the magnet. Let's take another look at how quickly alcohol will become transparent again under the influence of a powerful magnet. An amazing sight, like a liquid hourglass. Let's take a new batch. Let's take a new batch of powder ink and mix it with oil. Pour a little in the glass, and with the help of a magnet, we will get an unusual drawing tool. We do not recommend repeating this trick at home. We will bring the magnet to a laptop screen and it immediately goes out. Even a small magnet is enough. But remember that it can end badly for technology. Mysterious things also happen to a smartphone. When a magnet approaches, the screen goes out and lights up again. Let's take an ordinary magnet. As you can see, it is perfectly attracted to iron. But what if we heat it up, the same way we heated the needles? After the magnet has become so hot, it's no longer attracted to iron. But even after it cools down, the magnetic properties will not return. Even another magnet can't move it anymore.